Conceive, believe, achieve.
This is former UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael Bisping.
Paddy the Baddy here. You're listening to Combat Sports UK.
And you're watching Combat Sports UK.
Hello, I'm Scott Bogey from Combat Sports UK, here with Callum Haughian, ahead of his Cage Warriors 180 fight against Marko Sarasjärvi. How are you feeling ahead of this upcoming fight?
Yeah, feeling good, man. Been a tough camp already, but feeling good, prepared very well, and I'm happy where I'm at.
This is your first professional debut. Is there any nerves coming into that?
I'm not feeling them at the moment. I usually would get a little bit more nervous towards the end of the camp, maybe, or closer. But at the moment, no, I'm just focused on being as prepared as possible. I see it as just another fight. I'm mentally prepared, going, in camp, getting ready for what I'm going to be going into. So I feel good at the moment.
Exactly. And you have got a bunch of amateur experience to come into this fight with. You were I think it's shocking, all featherweight champion and the Cage Warrior Academy featherweight champion. How was it to get those championships?
Yeah, one fight was very quick, I'll be honest, but the other one was, they were tough fights. They were tough fights against very good opponents, and definitely helped me get prepared for where I am now. That's why I feel like going into Cage Warriors now straight away, which is obviously one of the biggest organizations against tough guys who had a lot of experience as well. I feel these fights have helped me be prepared for this moment now.
And with your last fight being with the Cage Warriors Academy, do you feel like that's made it any easier making that transition because you're still with the Cage Warriors?
Yeah, I think that was what helps, get this fight and be fighting on Cage Warriors at the moment. Normally it's not quite normal, I'm not sure, but to go straight into Cage Warriors from a debut, obviously I know a few people have, but I think that having the Cage Warriors Academy belt definitely helped get this fight and be fighting now in Cage Warriors.
And obviously with your opponent, he has got 5 fights under his belt. Do you feel like that's going to put a bit of a challenge because he has been in there and he has seen quite a lot of different stuff?
We've had similar fights. We've been fighting for the same amount of time. I think I saw his record before. I think he's been fighting since 2017, his first amateur fight. He just had a bit more experience because of, I think he went to IMAF. So you fight, multiple times in one day or a few times, over a few days. So it's like, we've been training for the same amount of time. We've been fighting for the same amount of time. I don't look at, all these extra, he's been fighting, he's had pro fights, Cage Warriors. I don't care. When I go in there, it's not going to bother me. I'm going to be focused on doing the job at hand, which is finishing this guy. So it doesn't matter.
Exactly. And how do you see this fight playing out? Are you wanting to keep it on the feet or are you looking to get it to the ground?
Well, I know where he wants to go. I think he's gonna. I think he wants to. I'm pretty sure he likes to take people down. He's got pretty good grappling. I give him credit. His striking's pretty good as well. So I just want to go in there, just outclass him in every aspect. If he wants to take me down, cool. I don't mind. Grappling's cool. If you want to strike, no worries. So my game plan for the fight is just go out there and be better than him in every aspect. Most of all, put a good show on for the fans. And yeah. So yeah.
And I see you are training with Great Britain Top Team. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And how has that been? Because obviously you have got Brad Pickett as the head coach, who has got a bunch of experience within the UFC.
Sorry, I lagged a little bit there. What was the question?
How has that been for your development, having that coach who has got that experience?
Oh yes, massive. Have Brad, have Ash, the guys that have been there, done this, had all these big fights and so much experience. It's definitely invaluable. So it's great to have these guys in your corner. Obviously, Brad Nash will be in my corner for this fight, so to have these guys and to be preparing for guys like Nathaniel Wood, having like guys like that, with such a vast amount of experience, in UFC and stuff is it's very, very good to have, behind you.
And I think I got this correct. You are also a striking coach for them, is that correct?
Yeah. See, I teach the
And
kids down here, teach the kids, cover classes, more striking, that's it. Yeah.
and how has that been like for your development? Seeing these kids you teaching get progressing, their progression, getting better and better each time.
Yeah, it's really good. I've taught kids for like seven years now, so it's always good to see, progression of the kids in terms of their skill ability and also how it helps them grow up as well in school. I taught a lot of kids that have been bullied and stuff, and it really does help them with overcoming that, as in being more confident. And yeah, it's really good to be part of that.
And have you been part of like a corner situation before for like a teammate?
Have I been part of the corner?
Yes, for a teammate.
Yeah, I've done lots of corner. I've cornered a lot of people for fights before, and yeah, it's like I like cornering as well. I like coaching. Coaching is a big part of me. I teach PTs, kids classes, adult classes. And being in the back when people are about to go out to fight. It's something I enjoy doing as well. Yeah.
And how did you get into MMA as a whole?
I got into MMA because I actually got into it because a friend of mine was saying one time, he said about this place. He said it's like amazing place. There's these classes you can do. They've got this grappling class and they got these striking classes. I didn't really know much. I think I knew about it. It's like I got into it like 2016, 15 or something like this. And he said about all these classes and stuff. I was like, wow, that sounds amazing. Like, he said he's going to do it and all that. In the end, he didn't do it, and I joined it. The rest is history. Yeah.
And for anyone who is coming up the ranks as an amateur currently, what would you give them as any advice?
Be active. Be active, like with fights. Don't really worry about the record. Like I ain't got a great amateur record, like 7-4, nothing special, but the experience I got from taking very hard fights definitely helped me progress and be where I am today. Taking the losses are things important. Obviously, you're not trying to lose, but taking tough fights at amateur, it doesn't matter about amateur. Who cares? No one really knows these. You ask what's John Jones' amateur record, George St. Pierre amateur record. No one knows no one knows, right? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. So I'd say take as many fights as possible, and in the training, when you're training and when you're, don't be afraid to like step out of your comfort zone, try things. If you get submitted, like a lot of people, I think they try and play that A game too much. I think, take chances, you get submitted, you find out a lot more when you actually start trying things, in the training, So that'd probably be my advice.
And like you're saying, do you feel like this is like a reset of your record? Because obviously you're moving from that amateur ranks to the pro ranks. You are back to 0-0.
Yes, 100%. That's why I always said about my amateur record. I was like, I took fights that probably wouldn't be ideal. Like some people, I know there's a lot of guys. I'm not going to call out people with names or all of that, but I know there's a lot of guys in the amateur. They had their record fighting. Again, I don't want to be critical, like bums. They're like guys that. Why do you want to pad your record too much amateur? It makes no sense. So now coming into pro, I feel more than ready because of the tough fights that I took. So again, yeah, I do think it's a reset, and I feel very good going into the pro ranks now.
And you did have a pro debut set back in 2018 after about 4 or 5 amateur fights that didn't come off. think it was against Axel Chapuka for Kill
Yeah,
Cam fight.
no,
What?
that was actually a mistake. They actually they made a mistake there. That was actually I didn't actually have that. That wasn't for pro. I know it's always been on my record. I was like, when was that fight ever booked? Because it wasn't. We weren't ever booked to fight. In 2018. No, since then I've had pro, so a couple of pro fights fall through, which is a shame. But like one was because I got injured. The other one was because Sky pulled out on the week. That guy is an idiot. I'm not going to be honest. He's booking fights 1 week before and pulled out. I can't even remember his name. It doesn't even matter. But yeah, so that was frustrating. So yeah, but it's what it is, isn't it? That's what MMA is.
And when did you hear about this fight? Like, when did you get the name?
When did I get the name? When did I get the name? Maybe I've known about it for quite a bit now. Maybe we're about 5 weeks out now, right? It's five
Yeah.
weeks, five and a bit or whatever. Must be like 3 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks. They said, yeah.
And did you know that you were fighting on this card beforehand, or did they just say, this is an opportunity? We have London against this guy.
We were definitely, I was definitely hoping for this day. We were looking at dates and stuff, and November worked really well, and so I had an idea. They said, "Do you want to fight this guy?" So we were aiming for November 15th. They said, "Do you want to fight this guy?" I said, "Yes," straight away. And now here we are, booked and ready to go.
And it must be a lot nicer and easier because obviously you are in London, the fight's in London, so you still got you stay in your own bed, you don't have to travel. That must be a lot easier for you.
No, that's a good point. It's a good point. All these little things do help. No, I don't try not to look into it too much. It's just like a nice little extra thing. If I were going to Finland and fighting him, I wouldn't care. I'd still go do the same thing. But it's like that extra little thing. It's local. You have more. I think it's nice because you have like family and
Yeah,
friends, whatnot, closer. It's more convenient for them. More of them can come, and I like that much easier. They can get one train up here, or one half an hour car journey, and it's a lot better for them and stuff as well. That's good.
and do you feel like having that home support will play a big factor in the fight because they can lift you if you are not doing so well, they can lift you up and get you start to get performing up to your level.
Mm, yeah, I've always been. I don't really mind. I'm not, as in, I like to have the support. I really do. Really appreciate everyone that comes out and supports me. Um, but I've never been one to worry too much about that. I just when I'm in the moment, when I'm in the zone for before a fight, everything's not there.
Yeah,
I'm just focused on ahead of me at that time. But I like the fact after the fight, before the fight, now I'm like, great, that's really good. Everyone's gonna come, much better. And after the fight, I'm really grateful and happy that everyone's there. But when I'm in the fight, it's just dialed in, locked in at that moment. One goal, and that's it.
exactly. And do do you have like a date that you are wanting to return after this fight? Like, are you looking to get on the first card back after the new year, or are you wanting to take a wee bit time out?
So I actually need to look at when the cards are.
So I think you have one after a week after this in Newcastle, and then there's one in December for in San Diego. And I don't think they have released the one for the new year yet.
Sorry, I think I broke up a little bit there.
So
So they
there's
got the one
yeah, you have
Newcastle and then San Diego.
yeah, and then they haven't released the one for 2025 yet.
All right, cool. Uh, yeah, let's just do the one the week after. Newcastle. I'm joking. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna like that. overlook him like that. It's not what I'm trying to do, man. So I'm actually after this fight, I'm actually going to Thailand for two and a bit months. So ideally, I'd be looking at March would be a good time. I like the March has always been a good date for me for fights. I think a lot of shows try and do that first quarter of the month of the year. Sorry, they try and do March. So I'm imagining they've got March. If they haven't, March, April, April, maybe. You know, I don't mind. I don't want to. April always feels like a little bit extra. You know what I mean? Like November and then March. That'd be good. You know, I usually try and fight just before, like in late December or December time. But I'm gonna be away. I'm gonna be traveling for a little bit, focus on training as well out there, and so yeah.
And have you been training in Thailand before?
Yes, I went to Thailand before for 2 weeks. And I trained Tiger Muay Thai. That was good. I'm gonna do a little bit different this time. You know, before I went out trained on my own, I was a lot younger, and I just didn't really. I think I didn't like use the time or use like my time there as best as I could. Felt like I was a bit just, stayed in one place a little bit too much, and just I was training a lot. So I guess, you train twice a day in very hard sessions, obviously, or 3 sessions a day, and it's, it can take it toll. You don't really want to do much else outside of it sometimes. But I'm going with my friend now this time, so we definitely got a lot more plans in mind on what to do. How best we can use our time out there. So yeah, be different this time, I think.
Well, that sounds great. I know you'll smash your fight in London. Can't wait to watch it. And then hopefully we'll be able to speak ahead of your next fight as well. I'll let you have the final word. Is there anything else you're wanting to add or anyone you're wanting to shout out?
Anyone want to add or shout out? Just say, make sure don't miss my fight. I always say it every single time, don't miss my fights. I fight to win, but I fight to make it entertaining for the fans. We fight for fans, so I always say it, make sure you don't miss my fight. I can imagine I'm probably going to be on early this time. It's been a fair few years now since I fought, on the lower part of a card, which I'm guessing I'm probably going to fight on, so make sure you get there on time. You get there early and you enjoy the show, enjoy my fight.
Exactly. It'll be a great experience and you'll be a great fit as well.